Hello, and a warm welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that have led them to where they are today. I am here today with Liz. I should have been here like months ago because every single person I podcast gets flowers from Liz and her team. Unless I've really mucked up, in which case I have to do like a last minute online order for someone a bit further away or something.
Fair enough.
And she's been on my list for ages, and I finally rung you the other day, didn't I? And went, look, this is crazy. I'm chatting to amazing career women, getting all my flowers from you, and I've not even heard your story
Isn't
yet.
it funny that I never expected you to actually want me to do it? That's strange, isn't it?
Well, not really. I don't think, it's just humble, isn't it? It's humble. I just come in and I always ring up and I go, hi, it's Michelle, podcast lady.
Podcast lady.
Podcast lady, just my usual. Right, so, obviously you're a florist.
I'm a florist, yeah.
How long have you been a florist for?
I was a florist a long, long time ago. I mean, I don't look that old, but probably about 40 years ago.
Wow.
And then it didn't pay enough.
Right.
Because I did train straight after university, and then I gave it up and did other things in between. So
right.
In the pollen in Oakham, in various places on the high street, probably, is it 12 years?
I was going to say, you've been here, 'cause you used to be further up, didn't you?
Up, yeah.
Ah.
12 years. Mm.
Okay, right, before we go too far into that, we're going to track all the way back and we're going to chronologically go through that then, if that's all right. So, little Liz, when you were younger, little whipsnapper, what were you like? What were you into?
Actually, I probably did like plants a lot.
Did you?
Yeah,
so I'm just going to move your mic. Maybe this is slightly closer to you. Look,
yeah, I've always been fascinated with plants. So I was someone that used to, I'm a bit weird, I used to press flowers, I used to collect flowers, I used to help in the garden. So I probably always did. Probably came from my mum, actually, that she knew all the Latin names of all the plants.
So she was a really keen gardener?
She was a real keen gardener. Wow. Wherever we went to a big old mansion or whatever, she used to have her a very large leather handbag, and we used to take cuttings as we went round.
Wow! Did she have a book that she brought out with all the references
in her head.
names?
She knew them all, yeah.
Okay, so really into nature then.
Yeah,
gardening,
so,
nature plants. Yeah. What were you like at school? What subjects?
School, probably a tomboy. I probably liked doing all the sports, hockey team captain.
Just being outside, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. A bit lazy, being the youngest ones. All the older sisters had excelled in education. Myself and my brother at the end were a bit lazy. I think we were left to roam free.
Just to raise yourself. Yeah. So what of the six then? How many sisters? How many brothers?
4 sisters and a little brother.
Right, fair enough. Okay, and then came out of school. Did okay or?
Yeah, I went to university, studied horticulture at Nottingham University.
Okay, well, did you go to college before that, though?
No.
Oh,
no.
So went straight, so school?
Did a degree in horticulture.
Wow.
Passed that. And I worked in garden centre management for a little while, and then decided I wanted to change and took myself off to the Bishop Burton Floristry College. Paid for my, because I'd already had a degree, so I had to pay my own way through.
Yes.
And did the course there in floristry.
Okay, and what age are you then?
So, what do you live? About 23, 24.
Okay, so early 20s. So you knew back then that interest was really strong then?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long was that course?
I suppose floristry in the day, it wasn't considered enough. All my sisters had done a degree, so to just go and be a florist, it's kind of got that stigma where I think a lot of people even now think of us as just market traders. Just a bit of lack of respect that it's not that an intelligent a job particularly. So
but it's a really it's a really creative job, isn't it?
It is, but there's a lot more brain work to it than you think. Yeah. So that's why I went off and did a degree.
Yeah.
You couldn't do a degree in floristry at the time, whereas you can now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously I'll be researching all of this for the role. Okay. So then did that course and then...
Got a job in floristry, but to be honest, to buy a house or to rent somewhere yourself, I was having to live in a room in a house with somebody else, so it just doesn't pay enough, or it didn't at the time. So then I went into the garden centre management again.
Right. Just for salary, just to earn the money.
Then I had 3 children. found that I was lucky enough to have a partner that earned enough that I could stay at home, because I really enjoyed that. I was a classroom assistant for a while because it fits in with school.
Yeah.
And then I trained as a teacher because I wanted to be at home in the school holidays.
Wow,
So
okay.
I'm not someone that sticks a job for very long.
No,
So
hang on, you can't just casually say I trained as a teacher. It's not just some kind of like, oh yeah, I did it over a weekend.
Yeah.
So how long was that course then?
That was a year, because you can do a PGCE, yeah. So as a teacher.
This is when you had young kids then?
So it fits in with the school hours, doesn't it, really? You know, any other job in horticulture, you're working all weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Floristry, you have to work Saturdays, so it just doesn't fit in.
Okay. And you were a teacher then?
Oh yeah, I was a teacher. Yeah.
For how long?
Not that long, actually. I mean, I think a lot of teachers will understand that it's a lot of pressure is put on you by the heads, so... Yeah, I really loved the job, really enjoyed the children and the creative side of it. We had a ball, but it's all the paperwork and all the other
politics
stuff that goes with it. So, yeah, I stopped doing that.
Okay. And then what then?
Then I went to work just to see if I wanted to do this, because I had it in my mind I would like to run a shop. So I went to work for Sue's Flower House in Stamford.
Okay.
I think I was there 2 years just to make sure that I was still interested in it.
It's smart to do that though.
Yeah, because it had been a while since I'd been in it as well, so it was a confidence boost working there. And then one night, my husband rings me up and says, because I'd been looking around, I'd offered to buy hers.
Okay.
Because she was retiring. But that kind of didn't work out.
Yeah.
So we were looking around for a shop, and my husband rings me up. I was over on the Wirral with one of my sisters, and he said, I've found you a shop. They're selling up, and it's their last week, and she'll take it for practically nothing. You can buy the stock, and you can have it.
Literally like that, like
just
overnight.
Like that, yeah. I didn't even know where Oakham was.
Wow. Okay. So how had he
I
found
hadn't
it?
even looked around. He was driving past for work, and he saw like a sign, and he saw a florist with selling up all the stock. So he went in and had a chat with the lady.
So Pollen was another florist shop before?
It was, yes, yeah.
Called what?
Called Pollen.
Oh, it was called Pollen, okay.
I took it on. I actually regret taking that on and not calling it something myself and starting from scratch now I look back.
Do you? Right, interesting.
Yeah. You've got to be careful and do a bit more research than I did about how the shop was going and what name it's got.
In fairness, your husband gave you like 24 hours notice.
I didn't even have time.
It's not like you had...
didn't even look at it. And it put in an offer, yeah.
Wow. But how lovely that he'd got your back like that, though.
Yeah, it's true. He said it's always what you've wanted to do. You should do it, yeah.
And in fairness, prime location.
Oh, yeah.
And very successful from memory.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
good place to do it. It's a bit of a pain travelling from Bourne, so Stamford might have been a bit more sensible.
Yes, yeah,
Starting
yeah.
a new shop in Stamford, but yeah, it's worked out fine.
Wow, okay. So how long ago was this then?
That was about 12 years ago.
Yeah. And how long did that take you to get set up then? Or
Absolute nightmare. Lost a heck of a lot of sleep at the beginning. You know, I'm not a businesswoman. I didn't know what I was doing. I signed up for things that I shouldn't have done. I mean, if anybody starts one, talk to me and I'll tell you all the mistakes you can make. Yeah, so probably the first 2 years I probably didn't make a profit.
So did...
That's quite difficult. Thinking, shall I carry on? Am I doing the right thing?
Gosh. Because you literally were just learning on the job. And did the other owners give you much advice?
No.
They just sort of went, here you go, here's the keys.
Nothing. Yeah.
See you later. You were like, great. Oh, it was just you. There wasn't anyone else.
No, there was a florist that I inherited, Amy. She was very helpful. Yeah, really helpful.
Okay, well that's good then. So for the minute you got the keys, when were you up and running? Would you say?
Probably a day. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, straight away.
Right. Yeah. And did I have so many questions? Did customers notice? Did they come in and say anything? Or
looking back, I don't think I plastered across the door that
it was new management. Yeah.
Because I think the other lady had maybe fallen out with a few people. So I think even 5 years later, people had said, "Oh, I didn't realise it had changed hands." So I didn't do a very good job marketing at that point, really.
Because actually, that could have really helped you then, knowing that it was fresh.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, because it is a nice brand. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice shot and that kind of thing. I think that had looked quite nice. In comparison, it looked quite, from my experience, I remember it feeling quite a modern florist.
That's right,
modern, a little bit progressive, and that kind of thing.
It's true. I mean, if I'd called it Busy Lizzie's or Betty's Buttonholes, it probably wouldn't have had the same ring, would it?
Is that what if you could have? What would you have changed its name to then?
I don't know. Probably would have called it Lizzie's. Yeah.
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 Well, there you go. Okay. So they're up and running within a day. Didn't make any money for a couple of years.
That's right, yeah.
And it was just you and another florist for those first couple of years, was it?
Yeah. And a driver that I inherited, yeah.
Wow.
Pete, he was with me for years, actually.
Was he?
Yeah.
So, and how did you know how to run a business? Do you mind me asking that? Because you'd worked for people, but...
Yeah, I had worked in garden centres, so you could see all the buying pattern. I used to buy sometimes for like the sundries, the house plants, things like that, so you get that. But each shop is different, so it's almost like you've got to learn the shop.
Yeah.
And it changes so much. That's the hard bit. It's like one week you might only need so much flour. The next week it suddenly changes and you need double or triple the amount. It's ongoing. You just have to juggle it each day and learn a bit as you go along.
I was going to say, because also this is the term perishable goods.
Yeah, very much so.
Very perishable. So stock management.
It's very tricky, yeah.
In terms of like stock and everything then, I mean, how do you even remotely, how do you judge and manage that?
Do you know, my driver at the moment, he used to work in, I think he was the sales rep for Gillette, and he's run his own businesses with stock levels, selling. And he came at Mother's Day this year and he said, like, I don't want to be rude, but how did you do that? And how did you know? And how did you know how to buy those? And it's something that builds up in your head. Just a lot of it is in my head, really.
Okay. Yeah. And what about suppliers then? Because one of the very first podcasts I did is my nail lady in Stamford, and she started her career out as a florist.
Wow.
And so again, she's just a very creative. I perceive this as just one of these very creative roles. It's the creative industry. And she was saying that back then they used to have to go and obviously to the markets and buy all the flowers.
Right. I have it easy.
Yeah, but then as she said, then towards the end it changed, and obviously the lorries now drop them off. But she really missed that. She really liked the going, I don't know, crack of the sparrows. And
we used to have a Dutchman come round on his big lorry. It was like a sweetie shop. Yeah. So I always bought more than I should, really, because it was like, ooh, haven't seen those for a long time. I'll buy those. But lockdown changed all that because they weren't coming over on the ferries. And so he juggled his business to be just mail order. So he's just like every other mail order person now. So I kind of miss him. Yeah.
So there's no...
There are some, but Rudy, he chose to go a different way, so he doesn't do it like that.
So now you have to pre-order everything?
Now, there's several ways. I go out to the growers at Pinchbeck.
Okay.
So luckily I live that way, so I can go there before I drive the opposite way to work. So I go direct to the grower. Or we have several wholesalers. My main one is Flower Vision in Nottingham, so that I would order on the computer.
Yeah.
You can order that direct from the grower there. There are different web shops that you can go on, so you can time it to come in at different times.
But that, like you say, as opposed to just sort of going in. Although, is it better that way, though?
It probably stops you from overbuying.
Yes. Yeah.
But then maybe you don't think to hunt around for the more interesting things sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's not there in front of you.
And you've not got the time, have you?
No, but it's so nice that they've got a key to the shop. We come in and it's just here ready for us.
Really?
So
Gosh,
no early mornings for me.
Really level of trust. Yeah. So, but you're still open at 9 though, aren't you? So what time do you get here then?
2 minutes to 9.
2 minutes to 9. As opposed to you. The team are laughing behind. Are the team always here before you then? Is that the...
Sacre Hey guys, look at them. No.
Hey, it's your place.
No,
you
not at all.
If you can't decide when you rock up, then the whole thing is just a farce.
True. It's not always true, is it?
It's not true.
Oh, today was different. Yeah.
Right.
I was picking some stuff up, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the nice thing about having such a nice team, that we all get on very well.
You do always seem to. There's always banter going on, I should say, in the background, isn't there?
Yes.
And often, sometimes I do quite like it when you're sort of wondering where flowers are. That's it. Because obviously I pre-order mine, so I'm always okay. Then you're going, hang on, where's that? And where's that? And it's kind of like, and you're all just sort of juggling around, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what proportion of your business then would you say is pre-orders from, say, I say I pre-order, let's face it, I pre-order like an hour in advance, I don't exactly give you much notice, versus people walking in off the street then?
It's tricky to say. I would say that it's changed since I started. So a lot of it, we've built our web shop up that you'd only get a few through each week, whereas now we're getting more every day. So it's raising the profile of a web shop. I'm not that much of a computer whiz, so it's taken a while, probably longer than it should have done. But the web sales are coming higher.
And is that what you would like to shift it to?
Oh no, we like people coming through the door as well, definitely. But that means that people from away are not using a great big relay company we are into Flora as well, but there's so many relay companies. So you're battling a small business trying to get to the top of a Google search compared to, these big places like Interflora. So we're doing quite well with that. Yeah.
Oh wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
COVID then. Because that, for retail, was just...
It was awful for some of his businesses. The ones I feel most sorry for are the ones that had only just started up, so they didn't get the grants and whatever.
No.
If you'd been under 2 years or whatever it was, then they really struggled. I'm sure that was most difficult. Whereas we got some help. The landlord was kind enough to knock a little bit off. To be honest, COVID worked really well for us.
Did it actually? Actually just gave you a bit of time off?
No. Well, we'd shut the shop completely. And then, to be fair, it was a wonderful time for us.
What, busy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know that sounds awful.
But no, not at all.
But it was our best year that we ever had, because people couldn't visit neighbours, couldn't visit family. Oh. They couldn't go up for their mum's 100th. There were a lot of events that people were really sad about and couldn't come and visit their family, and so they'd send flowers instead. We were doing a non-contact delivery at the doorstep. And so you felt like you were really helping people. You were spreading the emotions.
Yeah, it was. It was a really bizarre
people
time.
Were more happy to have florist choice who could make better value flowers. It was it was quite a good time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And has the business shifted much since then? Is, like you say, is that really where the online thing?
I think that's when the online thing took off a bit more. Yeah. So that actually helped us there as well. That sounds awful, doesn't it?
Well, no, but a lot of the women I've chatted to have run their businesses, had to adjust because of COVID, and then, like one of the podcasts I did a few weeks ago, it's called The Yard. It's a soft play centre in Stamford, and of course that shut.
Yeah.
Within a moment's notice, was one of the last things to open. It still makes me laugh. I'll share it with you. It was like they were one of the last. That and sex workers. One of the last things to go back. Children's soft play centres and sex. And you got to go. I'm pretty sure. I said to them there. I'm pretty sure the sex working never stopped. It was like the most regulated industry in the world.
No, I don't think so.
But it was such a random thing for them to say to me. I was like, oh, okay. But like you say, they adjusted their business to adapt, because of course they had to really limit numbers and have it one way, and they cleaned down, and they've kept it up. They've actually kept a lot of that up. So a lot of the businesses I chat to, they have kept a lot of it's almost make people streamline things, and as a result of it, I
think it made me think out of the box. We were doing kind of a weekly special offer and things like that, whereas actually I must carry on doing that because we've got a bit sloppy lately. So you were really trying to think of any ways that you could deliver plants to people's houses, because they're all doing their gardens, things like that.
Yes.
So we had a lot of special offers like that.
Do you do? So what's your ratio for plants then to flowers? Because I do, but that's only because of how my world is. I'm not a gardener.
Oh, no.
Whereas obviously I think
most
of you
most florists, I think, wouldn't be so keen on the plants, but because I'm a plants person, that I like them, so I don't mind scrolling down the list trying to find a bargain on the plants. So that's why we have them, really.
Yeah.
So because I think, is it 10 or 15% of my business is literally at Mother's Day. So to suddenly have this huge peak and manage that without extra help's impossible. So he's
10
invaluable.
to 50% of your business is Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's within 3 days of the year. It's mad, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
But you know it now, and I guess it's sort of...
It's daunting every year. It's daunting, but yeah.
So how many? So you've got Merrin, you've got...
Tamsin's just come back from maternity. She was full-time.
Yeah.
Now she's 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And we're probably, here's your little plug, we're looking for somebody else to do another part-time.
Are you?
It's very difficult to find the right person.
So Mother's Day then, because you can't hire someone just for like a week, can you? Or do you?
I mean, luckily I get on with a lot of the people that have left, so we get some of them coming back.
Yes.
My bridesmaid, from when I got married, we were at Floristry College together, so she comes back as well.
So she comes up to stay with you, and then
She comes for the Mother's Day usually, and Valentine's Day, yeah.
So she comes and helps you, and you just drink at night, and then... in my head, this is what you're doing. You're like working really hard. You're then just drinking a load of like champagne at night, and then coming back in the next day and doing it all again.
Mother's Day, I'm lucky if I get home. Yeah. The one year I was asleep upstairs for about 2 hours. That's all I got. Yeah.
And you are a mum.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, but once you've taken an order, you can't let people down. So the pressure's on. Yeah.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life in you yet.
Well, and let's be honest about it. You'll get a lot of men doing last minute ordering. Won't
Oh,
you?
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what's Valentine's Day like then?
Valentine's Day. Mother's Day is lovely because it's like all different things. You've got little children that want something small, and it's nice because everything you make is different. Valentine's Day I found a bit annoying really because it's men that order late, and it's all red roses, which can get a bit boring, can't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's quite hard because the roses are so expensive. Juggling that time period is quite hard.
Yes.
You're relying on one particular flower, that's difficult.
Yeah, and along with a load of other people, a load of other companies.
Yeah.
So I really want, like, now, I want funny random stories about... So, like, say on Valentine's Day, what's the latest someone's rocked up? Oh, God, I need to get some flowers for
The latest? Well, I mean, they can turn up at... Yeah, they can turn up at... Yeah, the day after me. The day after I forgot it, I'm in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Can you help me out? And we usually do. Yeah. I mean, weddings are like that. We'll get a wedding. I had one grandma ringing up. My daughter's getting married today, and I can't come, but I really wanted to have some flowers. I didn't realise till today she wasn't having any. Can you do her wedding flowers?
Oh,
So,
God, wasn't having any. Wow.
we love doing things like that.
Yeah.
Something where you're having to think out the box and a bit different. It's
Right,
nice.
okay, so you quite like there's the panic of it, but actually the creativity.
It's a challenge, isn't it? Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so what are your other big events? You've got Valentine's Day, which
Christmas.
is... Right, okay.
That's quite a nice one because it's spread out on a whole week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that a lot of... Because you get all of the plants and things, don't you? You get Christmas... Is it what they call
Poinsettias. I don't actually keep those. It's too cold in the shop.
Oh!
When you see them in Tesco's and they're next to the door, don't buy them because if they've been in a cold draft, they're going to drop the leaves when you get them home in the warm. So I feel that the shop is too cold for them.
Right.
So the only time I'll get them is if they're pre-ordered and I keep them in a cardboard box next to the heater until they're sold.
You need a heater for... Wow, so they really need to be warm
They need
then.
to be warm.
They're
They can't
proper
be in a cold
indoor...
draft. No.
Ah, okay. So when do you break up for Christmas then?
Christmas Eve.
Do you? You work right up until what, 5:30 on Christmas Eve?
When my mum was alive, my brother used to visit every year to see my mum, and he used to go and buy our Christmas dinner for us. He lives in Australia.
Oh wow.
So really handy, but yeah, it's a bit more tricky now.
Yeah, because you're literally here
Working
until
here.
5:30.
Yeah.
Well, what's the latest you've been here on Christmas Eve then?
Not too bad Christmas Eve because people want it before
Yeah.
that, but probably about 7. Yeah.
But again, it's a bit of last minute men, isn't there?
It means you've got to be really organised at home, doesn't it, really?
Okay, so Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. I'm guessing Father's Day is not a thing.
Not as busy, no. Then it's just weddings.
Yeah.
Big weddings, yeah, that you've got to be prepared for. That's the whole thing about being a florist, is you never know what's going to come through the door.
No.
It's a very like high peaks just suddenly and randomly. So
Go up and down. So how far advance do you plan and do you order? Is it literally just like week to week?
Week to week, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's something extremely special, then I'll put in a pre-order for it and pay top dollar. But if I can, I'll leave it and find it locally. And
Okay, oh, that's nice. So someone's wedding then, what's the latest they could come to you and say?
if they don't mind what they get and they're not having much, just a bouquets, we've had them on the day. Like I say, this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'd rather they didn't.
Yeah,
We'd rather they didn't.
someone coming in like wanting with loads of expectations, as brides do often.
I would always recommend coming in the year. People are planning years in advance. So if it's that kind of wedding, come in the year before at the same time of year. Then if your wedding's next year in June, come in June and have a look what there is around.
Ooh, good
Not that we can't
idea.
order in different things, but it gives you an idea about what's seasonal.
Because you're right, a lot of people. God, I would never have thought of that. That's such a good idea to do.
But a lot of people, they come to the florist last. They're going to the venue decorators and they're sorting all that out, and then
Cake.
They tend to come to us last, really. So often it's only about 6 months before that they order the flowers.
Ah, okay. Well, surely you get some even less than that. You must get some like a month before that.
Quite a lot. Yeah.
And have you ever turned anyone away?
Never.
Never. You never say no.
I had our biggest wedding that we ever had, and that was down near Cambridge, so there was a lot of travelling involved. We did have another wedding the same day, but I said to all the staff, if another one wants it, you're going to have to say no, because it's too dangerous to spread ourselves out that much, and we just couldn't
not getting
physically do it, so that's it now.
Okay, but luckily that didn't happen.
It didn't happen, so we didn't have to say no.
What are the strangest requests you've ever had? Come on, you've got to have had some really random...
Strangest request.
Do you get like people come in that just want random stuff? In my head, I'm thinking of men wanting particular arrangements, but maybe it's just where my head's going now because I've mentioned the sex worker thing and it's sent me down that road.
There is one family. We call them the Rose family.
Right.
And this is our biggest wedding that we ever had. And the sons, they sometimes want something quite big.
Okay.
With roses.
Okay.
So the one time, I think he had 1,000 roses in a bouquet, and he wanted...
God, what would that even look like?
Well, spread your arms out as wide as you can. It's
How
that
would
big.
you even assemble those, though?
That was the tricky bit.
Yeah.
That was the tricky bit, because at the old shop, it had a really wide door, but we found that as we made it, we couldn't fit it through the door.
Oh, of course.
So we had to half make it, and then we had to come here at 6 o'clock in the morning and finish it off outside the shop.
Like on the paving. Oh, amazing.
And it had love written on the middle of it.
How? What, in different flat? You had to spell it out in different roses.
What colour was that? I think it was waxed roses in gold. Where you dip the rose into wax.
And he'd pre-ordered
gold.
that, had he?
Oh yeah, gosh.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't just have that lying around.
No.
But how do you even put them together? What were they in? Were they in like a...
That's a trade secret.
Sorry, that's me going, what were they even tied with? Wow. Oh, that's so quite nice though. So you suddenly, like you say, logistically, that's logistics creative, isn't it? You suddenly have to think, how am I going to tie 1,000?
In fact, the same chap texted me last night who's coming tomorrow for something.
And are these for the same person or different?
I wouldn't like to ask. What if they were listening?
So if I ever, now that I'm a single woman, if I ever get a random big bunch of flowers with something spelled out in it, I know. Yeah, I said might need to have it. Okay, right. So we've talked about how you came to here. We've talked about who you've got working here. Talk about the fact that you need help. Not as in shop support. Not just help in general.
I mean, I would love Tamsin to come back full time.
Yeah.
But she has gone through a lot to have her two babies. So I think she wants to stay at home.
Yeah, it really maximises.
We're lucky to have her back after, really, aren't we?
And what are you looking for from someone then? Because this is your chance to kind of say, so it's part-time ideally, or would you want someone
part-time.
So what, 3 days a week?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and do they have to have experience or can you train them on the job?
Not necessarily. The thing is, when people look from outside into a florist, I think a lot of people get the wrong idea. They just think we're playing with flowers. And it's hot. Most of the job isn't that. You've just seen them all. It's cleaning the buckets, it's lifting heavy crates, it's long hours sometimes, it's cutting flowers, which can be a bit boring.
But I guess people only often see it on in films and TV shows, don't they?
Yeah.
Where it just looks like it's a nice...
And they're basing it on what they buy. They see these pretty flowers all put together and they think that's what you're doing all day.
Yeah. So, what's next then for pollen?
What's next? Well, I would love to start a web shop selling plants. Pollen plants by post. That's actually many P's. But I probably need a bit of help from somebody how to set that up properly. I mean,
if only there was someone that could help.
I've got a website designer, but I just need someone young.
Someone young
and computer savvy.
Out the room.
to put the
he's
effort
not playing
in.
ball with that, is he?
No.
Will he play ball though, or do you think he won't?
No, I don't. He's probably got enough to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I do know a fab web lady in Oakham.
Do you?
If you want.
I've got the website.
No, but often it's adding it on though, isn't it? Maybe or tweaking.
Yeah,
and
or doing it separately, or paying for advertising to boost it up to get it going. Really.
Yeah. But people, we are in the era, and obviously we have been definitely since COVID. People like to buy local, don't they?
They do. Yeah.
So people don't want to go to, because even, let's be honest, even garden centres, I think now they've got so big for me.
It's a shopping centre.
It is.
To me, being a plants person, it's not.
It's not personal at all, is it?
It's
No.
all clothing and shoes and all sorts of junk, isn't it? With it. Really.
Well, and I've bought plants before that then just die quite quickly, and you think, I don't get the impression they've necessarily massively been looked after. I might be wrong, but
it's probably just you.
I'm just killing them. In fairness, it is just me. But no, you are right though. For something that's, because it's quite, plants and flowers feel intimate, don't they?
Yes, they do.
You choose something that's really unique to you, even if it's a plant that you either just innately like the look of, it connects to you in some way.
It's true.
And to then go to a mass garden centre to buy it always feels a little bit out of sync for me.
Yeah. Or I don't know what next really. If we had enough staff, probably venue dressing to go with the flowers, because they tend to come to us last. They've already been to a venue dresser, so maybe
Hang on,
that's
what
the
do you
way
mean
to go.
venue dressing?
Somebody that puts all the sashes on the chairs and the...
Oh, actually at an event, like a wedding, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if Maren wants to take it over, another shop in Stamford.
There you go.
You could, but it's the staffing, isn't it? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And a lot of hassle. Yeah.
It is tricky, isn't it? And he's also quite clearly not going to play ball, looks. He's just blanking us both, isn't he? Okay, so what next? You've got some ideas, but you just maybe got to see... Get your extra part-time person in, see what that frees up.
Revamp the shop with a nice area for the plants.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I ought to do, I used to have a courier service around the country, and what I ought to do is put that back. But I had quite a few bad experience with them, because if you send it by courier, it's not insured. You don't get any money back if they damage it. So, and it was happening quite a lot that they were just throwing it on.
In fairness, I think couriers are still like that.
Yeah, so because we are missing a trick there, because the only way we're sending them now is via Interflora, which the sender doesn't get anything. So it's
because
not
if you
worth
think
doing
locally, you could, everyone that maybe orders flowers for other people, because it's fine to buy locally for other local people, but if you want it, which most people do, you're sending flowers to somebody you don't live near.
Yeah, it's true.
But they'd still love to order locally.
Yeah. That's the biggest difference we could make, really, but it's finding a courier that will be right
you've
for
got
us.
to order. You're going to have to do some orders and see where it goes. Okay, well, loads of what next? Loads of possibilities for what's next then.
Yeah.
Second shop, extending the show. I'm saying showroom as if it's like some kind of car thing. Plants,
I think
online,
the courier service
logistics.
would make the most money, wouldn't it, really? Being able to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best part of this?
The job.
Yeah, what's the best part of it?
Best part of the job.
Oh, you're being heckled. Well, what's the best part of it for you then?
The best part of the
She's thinking.
Because
There's lots of best
my
parts.
sisters and my brother have all retired. He's retired early. And they keep saying, why don't you retire? You could do hobbies. And I actually don't want to because I enjoy it.
But this is your hobby though, I guess,
It is
isn't
my
it?
hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to have a job that I really enjoy.
I know, which,
Yeah,
let's face it,
I do.
99% of people don't have.
But I suppose if I could cut out the having to cut and having to clean up and whatever, it's the making of the items. The
Right.
best bit is if someone comes in and wants something unusual. And often that's
Yeah.
something like a funeral, you know, something that really means a lot to them.
Oh, yes.
You know, they want to incorporate vegetables because he was a vegetable gardener and making something a bit more... I like using my imagination and doing something a bit more different
Yeah.
to just a hand-tied kind of bouquet, yeah. So that's the best bit.
And I guess
Making something bespoke and something very personal. Yeah.
Because you are actually, it is really fundamentally, you're involved
People's
in
emotions.
lives, yeah.
You're delivering emotion, aren't you,
You
really?
are.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I've got to ask it then. What's the worst bit? We've got to give people the real guts and all. What's the worst bit of this?
I can't tell you.
Are you oh, okay.
The worst bit is probably getting the right flowers for something. If something's really prescriptive, is getting hold of the right stuff.
Yeah.
Once you've got it, I can work all through the night and do the job, but it's actually getting hold of the right stuff at the right time.
Yeah.
At the right stage.
So logistics and yeah.
That's probably the most stressful part.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you think, Maren? Getting the right flowers at the right time. Yeah.
I feel like you could say
Oh, I
more.
bet you could.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you my 3 final questions and then I'm going to leave you to get back to your busy life. So what advice would you give your younger self? It could be any version of your younger self. Could be school, college, uni, young mum, Liz. What advice would you give? Do you wish you'd known then that you know now?
I think right at the beginning, when I first did my course, my dad actually offered to fund a shop, and probably I should have had the guts to take his money and do it.
Wow.
Whereas at the time, I was too conscious that I was playing with somebody else's money.
Right.
Yeah, so it held me back a bit. I would probably have just gone for it. But then again, I've learned a lot of life skills from the teaching, so you can teach your staff.
Yes.
You know, I keep thinking maybe I should do courses here because I can teach. But maybe I've learnt a lot down the way because I've worked for plant places, I've worked in different florists, so I've learnt a lot there. So maybe, it worked out all right.
Okay.
Take a risk.
Yeah. This stuff, it comes up a lot though, and I think it is what you say, and that's intrinsically linked to just sort of believing in yourself as well, because I think, because as women, seemingly, I'm getting this a lot from these podcasts, we obviously self-doubt and imposter syndrome, all that goes quite high, and therefore it makes us not be risk takers.
That's right, yeah, definitely.
Definitely at a young age as well, yeah. Okay, what advice would your older self, so we're going to go fully retired Liz.
Oh, no.
Never retired Liz. But it could even be like 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future.
I won't be here in 10 years.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so when you're not here in 10 years and what will you be doing for one? We've now got to know what you're going to be doing.
Going to be travelling.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to be touring Europe. I'm going to visit my brother in Australia. I'm going to be
So you're
doing
just
my
never going to be at
garden.
home? You're just going to be always out and
Not
about?
always, but I'm going to take big chunks out.
Yeah. Okay. And when you're doing that, what advice do you think that Liz would say to this Liz now? Other than retire now.
Probably you should have retired a bit sooner.
Yeah. It probably will, because she'll be living her best life.
To be honest, probably you should have taken that time out sooner.
Yeah.
Because now, if I had somebody else, I had started planning to take 2 days off a week.
Yeah, okay.
But it just didn't work out.
Well, but it might do, though.
It might do.
It might do.
Yeah.
Okay, then the final question, it's always just some life advice or a mantra to throw out there for other women maybe, or anyone. If Liz had a T-shirt, what would it say?
gosh. It's give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a go. Believe in yourself. Yeah. I think women, when they do take on a business, I think they're so conscientious and care that they can do a job better than a man sometimes. Should I not say
all
that?
the time, Lynn. No, we say that a lot on this. All the time.
We put our heart and soul in it, don't we?
Yeah.
We live it.
Yeah, and we care about it.
We do really care about it. Yeah.
Okay, so just take that risk. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Great advice. On that note, I say thank you very much, Liz. If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.thiswomanswork.org. The link is on this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.